Over the last 7 years of producing Impulsive, I have created content that has generated over 8 billion views. And yes, that's billion with a B. And in that time, I've analyzed over 1,000 viral podcast clips to figure out exactly what makes them blow up. And here's what I found. Over 97% of podcast clips die at 500 views. And not because it's bad content or it's the wrong guest. They fail because they're missing one pattern that shows up in every single viral clip that I've studied. I'm talking about podcasters who went from 200 views to over 2 million views once they figured this out. I'm Kaleb. I am the co-owner and lead producer of Impulsive, which is one of the top 5 podcasts in the whole world. And in this video right here, I'm breaking down the exact structure that has generated billions of views for our show. Whether you're at 50 subscribers or 50,000, this pattern works. I personally tested it on a basketball page and grew it from 0 followers to 50K followers. So if you're ready to engineer viral moments instead of just hoping for them, pay attention. Here's what most podcasters do wrong. They grab a random 60-second segment from an episode, they slap some captions on it, and then hope that it goes viral. Then they get 300 views and they think the algorithm hates me. But here's the thing, you're creating clips and not moments. Think of a clip as a random segment that has no storytelling and limited effort. And then think of a moment as an actual story that pulls on a really strong emotion and has viral potential qualities. The brain processes moments way differently from information. And what I want you to think about is the TikTok analogy that I personally use all the time, okay? When a song goes viral on TikTok, it's usually only 15 seconds of a song. But if people like that song so much, they'll go over to the full length on Spotify.
I read somewhere this week that Tarn is based off of Rebecca Yarros's bulldog.
Aww.
And that made me somehow, like, it works. That just somehow fits.
Total bulldog energy.
I don't even know her bulldog, but I can totally see just like the grumpiness.
So that first one right there is a great example of just picking a random moment from the podcast, slapping some captions on it, and it really doesn't give anything. People don't even really understand the context of what the clip is about. Now, as we watch this other clip, you're gonna be able to see that this is a very strong emotion that's being pulled on, AKA something like pity or just feeling bad for somebody because of an injury.
Anthony Joshua hits you with probably his hardest shot. You dropped and said, wow.
I was like, wow, that was nice.
Did he surprise you with his power?
No, but I mean, he surprised my jaw.
Talk to me about what your jaw feels like.
It's like a baseball in there. 4 titanium plates. How many do you have?
Just one.
So pulling on a really strong emotion and then formulating a beautiful story around it. Once I understood that clips need to be moments, I started reverse engineering every single viral clip that I could find. We're talking ones from Impulsive Podcast, Joe Rogan clips, Diary of a CEO, smaller podcasts. I went through thousands of them and I kept seeing this pattern over and over and over again. At first, I honestly thought it was random. Maybe it was a guest or the topic or just complete luck. But then I noticed something. Every single clip that went viral, I'm talking every single one, followed the exact same emotional journey. It didn't matter if the podcast had 100 subscribers or 10 million. It didn't matter if it was about business, relationships, or AI. The structure was always the same. I call it the emotional roller coaster, and it has 3 stages that work every single time. Stage number 1 is the hook. The first 3 seconds creates immediate shock or immediate curiosity. Stage number 2 is retention. Between 3 and 20 seconds about, you introduce conflict, you add context, it maintains tension, and it builds story from beginning to end, basically cutting any of the fluff. Next is stage 3. This is the payoff, usually the last 10 seconds of the clip. The emotional payoff, we're talking about the holy shit moment. What you're hoping from this is that it answers the question or relieves the conflict. Something that makes you, as the person watching the clip, want to comment, share, or subscribe. Now, as we break down the clip right now, you're able to understand that the curiosity is the quote, do you speak Mandarin?
Do you speak Mandarin?
Yeah.
Is it possible for you to do the rest of this podcast in Mandarin?
Yeah, but they won't even understand what the fuck I'm saying. Y'all can't even understand.
Then it gets into the conflict plus the tension, which is the quote, you definitely didn't say anything.
Answer this one in Mandarin.
I bet.
What do people misunderstand about like content creators?
非常非常信用，很全
You definitely
That was not Mandarin. That was not.
And then the payoff is basically Ray saying being racist against your own culture is okay.
I feel like you were just kind of racist against.
That was
your
crazy. Yeah.
Dave, I'm gonna point the finger.
Yeah, you did
That-
say you
just-
might get canceled.
I can be racist to my own culture though. That's not a problem. Like
That's allowed.
And the best part is that people will either share or comment their thoughts on the post at the end of it. So that's the framework. And I know most podcasters will watch this, nod along, and think, okay, I get it. But then they go and try and apply it to their clips, and their clips still flop. And why is that? Because they're subconsciously making 3 big mistakes that kill those clips before they even have a chance to take off. So in this next section, I'm gonna show you what these mistakes are. Because honestly, once you're able to identify them, your clips will stop dying at 500 views and start hitting tens of thousands and even millions of views. So mistake number 1 is weak hooks, starting with context instead of curiosity. So an example is, today we're gonna be talking about blank versus you won't believe what he told me last night. Mistake number 2 is having too much fluff, not taking the viewer from A to Z. Instead, you're taking them from A to W to Q to Y and then to Z. Too much filler words and bad context. Mistake number 3 is that the clip doesn't stand alone. Basically, it requires the full episode context to understand. And stemming off this could be like inside jokes or references that only your loyal fans get. Ideally, strangers should be able to watch the content and completely understand. So in this next clip that I'm gonna show you, you're gonna be able to understand that the context was not laid out well enough about the beef, so that's why the clip didn't land as much as it should have.
Someone who, and this goes back a little bit, has had a little bit of fake beef with you at one point for allegedly hanging out with some of the girls.
I never had any. Some girl was like, "Oh, this guy's talking shit or something." I was like, "Okay, well, that guy."
And then all of a sudden I see a tweet that's like, this guy could actually come to the party.
You were like, "I was not talking. I have no issue with this guy." And Logan vouched for you, so I was like, "Yeah, sure."
By the way, I regret vouching for him.
So you now know what not to do. But here's the problem that most podcasters run into. They understand the framework, they know the mistakes, but they can't actually find these moments in their episodes. That is exactly what I'm gonna show you in this section. Because once you have this system, you're gonna be able to start to see viral moments everywhere within your content. You'll watch back your episodes and you'll immediately know what 30-second segment that you're gonna wanna clip. And you'll stop wasting hours editing clips that were never going to hit in the first place. And most importantly, you'll have a repeatable system that works whether you have 500 subscribers or 5 million subscribers. And here's the practical system that I use every single Impulsive episode. Step number 1 is identifying potential moments. You're gonna wanna mark moments where you or the guests get excited, you say something polarizing, or you show a really strong emotion. This could be something like you're laughing, you're crying, you're shocked. And then step 2 is you're gonna test for all of the stages, okay? Does it have a hook? Does it have retention? Does it have a payoff? If you're missing at any of those stages, find a different moment. Step number 3 is reverse engineer the structure. You don't need to clip chronologically. Move the hook to the front, even if it happened way later. You can also add overlays for context if needed. And the job is to engineer the emotion, not transcribe. So in reality, the ultimate test is this. You need to show it to somebody who has never even heard of your podcast before. Can they understand it? Can they feel the emotion behind it? Do they know what it's even about? If yes, you post it. If not, you go back to the drawing board, hash it up a little bit more, and then post it. And at this point, you might be watching this, you might be thinking, okay, Caleb, you produce one of the biggest podcasts in the world. Of course, this stuff works for you. And look, I get it. When you're working with Logan Paul and you have access to millions of followers, anything you post gets some traction. So let me tell you a little experiment that I ran. I started a basketball page called the_basketball_purist, just from absolute zero. Just me applying the exact framework to basketball content. I grew that page from 0 to 50,000 followers in a year and a half. The exact same emotional roller coaster, same 3 stages, different niche. Now, you might be thinking, okay, basketball content is way different from podcasting. Fair point, but here's what you need to understand. The emotional roller coaster works because of how the human brain is wired, not because follower count or niche. Let me break down exactly why this framework works at any scale. The psychology behind it is basically that the brain is wired to complete patterns. It's got a whole bunch of open loops and the dopamine is released when the loop closes. It's the same pattern in movie trailers, TikTok, commercials, and headlines. So here is why small podcasters can win. The algorithm cares about retention and engagement and not follower count. I mean, further personal proof is that my basketball page went from 0 to 50K with that same framework. It's just that small creators have to be a little bit more precise, okay? They don't have a loyal audience yet. They aren't gonna be able to get those pity views just yet. So this forces you to master the craft just a little bit faster. And understand that quality wins, okay? Don't fall victim into this whole volume trap where you post 10 clips and then you hope that one goes viral. You wanna make quality clips and then spend time actually refining them. Just 5 well-crafted clips will way outperform 10 quantity clips. You now know exactly why some podcast clips get millions of views while other ones die at 200. Okay, it's not luck. It is the algorithm. It's the emotional roller coaster. Hook, retention, and payoff. And if you can apply this to your own clips, you can start engineering viral moments for your own podcast. And here's the reality. Most podcasters watch videos like this, they get excited, and then they struggle when it actually comes time to implement it. They can't identify which moments have that viral potential. They overthink hooks, and after a few failed attempts, they go back to just randomly clipping their episodes. That is why I created my school community for podcast creators. Inside, I break down real clips in real time, showing exactly how you can spot these patterns for your episodes. You'll see me analyze member clips, fix their hooks, and honestly just restructure moments using the emotional roller coaster system. Plus, you get access to my complete course with over 2 hours of everything that I learned producing one of the top 5 podcasts in the world. I mean, I felt members go from 500 views to over 50,000 views per clip using these strategies. So if you personally want that level of guidance, click the first link in the description and I'll see you inside.